Right. And so he goes on to give us these examples, and a lot of times he's using kind of the moral claims. And again, we said last episode that if you kind of are looking at this from a science perspective or a reason or logic, it may be a little bit harder because you might have to have a little bit more knowledge in those areas. But the problem of evil or morality is one that we, I think, especially in our culture, tend to talk about the most. And especially when it comes to topics like religion, I think more people are willing to talk about kind of the moral claims rather than, does A follow does B follow from A, or does the conclusions follow the premise, or are the premise sound, are they logical? And so Greg Koukl here gives a lot of examples in this chapter from the moral claim or the problem of evil that we talk about here. And so one of them is called Is Gandhi in Heaven?
Wow.
Yeah. And so kind of to set the scene, he's talking to a Hindu person who wants to say that, heaven would be a very poor place without Gandhi in it, because Gandhi's, this national figure. He did a lot of important things, a lot of bad things too, but, no one really wants to talk about those. And so kind of going into this, in Hindu theology and Hindu philosophy, evil and good exist as dual poles. If there is no evil, it is impossible to have good. Each must balance the other out. So that's kind of what to know going in here. Mm-hmm. And so he says, well, sir, you must at least believe in heaven then, and apparently you've done some thinking about it. Good. What would qualify someone for heaven? Tell me what kind of people go to heaven. Well, then the response is, well, only good people go to heaven. Okay, so far so good. But this idea of what is good, what makes a person good is very unclear to me. What is good?
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Hindu is in trouble.
Right. So the Hindu is not immoral, is in not a neutral ground. He's going to revert back to his prior beliefs. And so he's going to say, well, good and bad are relative. There's no clear definition. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, here we go. Here's the light bulbs flashing. Here's, where do you want to pick up from? Asking people to define what is good, what is evil, tends to be one of those hot button issues that you can really jump on. And again, you're asking them to provide an answer from their point of view, and so the burden of proof rests on them, as we talked about in the Columbo tactic. So if this is true, that good and bad are relative, and there's no clear definition, then goodness is relative and can't be defined. How is it that you assume Gandhi is good and should be in heaven? So either Gandhi fulfills some external standard of goodness, thus qualifying for heaven, or goodness is relative and therefore a meaningless term when applied to anyone, including Gandhi. Both cannot be true at the same time.
So you're making two contradictory claims.
Right.
Like then these two siblings then are fighting each other.
Right.
Right.
So it's trying to kind of dip its toe. It's speaking outside of claims against itself. So that's what it's doing.
Yeah, good.